The head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Pat Shurmur, in his first year as an NFL head coach, doubles up as the Browns offensive coordinator, coaches that West Coast offense. And Jim Caldwell, head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, in his third season after taking over from Tony Dungy in his first year, took the Colts to the Super Bowl. Colts won the toss. They will receive. Phil Dawson will kick it to the rookie out of Rutgers, Joe LaFege, who was signed as an undrafted rookie free agent. Dawson teeing it up. Unusual for a rookie free agent to handle both kick and punt returns. LaFege awaits the kick. The second Sunday of the NFL season underway. LaFege will run it out. And lost his balance coming across the 10-yard line. He stumbled. Buster Screen able to cover up. And here comes Kerry Collins in his 17th NFL season.
Yeah, Marv, I think he's going to play better this week. He had just about 50% of the offense in the game plan last week. He's got a better understanding of this offense. And, of course, I think the other important thing is Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator, has a better feel for what he can do in this system.
Kerry telling us the other day when he first came to the Colts, it was like studying for a final exam. Dallas Clark brings out to the 20-yard line. A look at that offensive lineup in front of Collins. A new look to the left side of the line with Anthony Costanzo, first-round draft pick out of Boston College, at left tackle, and Joe Wrights, a first-year player from Western Michigan, at left guard. We saw the receivers and running backs. Joseph Adai right at the marker, stopped by the defensive tackle, Ataba Rubin.
Well, we talked about this, the fact that there's going to be maybe some no huddle. We saw it in practice on Friday, Marv. This is something that they've worked on already a week better with Kerry Collins. You know, Clyde Christensen can walk him through it, all the calls in his headset, but Kerry told us on Friday he's much more comfortable in the no huddle.
And Adai did pick up the first down. 1st and 10 from the 22. Adai is the running back. Reggie Wayne is split wide to the left side. Collins able to complete. Austin Collie gets out to the 28-yard line. And there is Clyde Christensen, who talked, as you mentioned, about the difficulty of the transition from Peyton Manning. He says you're doing doctorate level work for 11 years, and then he's gone.
You could write a novel, really. It impacts everybody. It impacts the coaching staff. It impacts the players, and certainly even the defense, not having Peyton Manning in the lineup.
2nd down and 4. The die is stacked up. And we'll check out the defensive unit. The man who made the stop was Altaba Rubin. The key on that front 4 as they line up in the 4-3. The middle linebacker, DeQuell Jackson, last week led the Browns with 11 tackles, including 2 sacks in his first regular season game since back in October 2009, coming back from injury. And you see the secondary. Strong game for Joe Hayden, who knocked down 5 passes in the loss to the Bengals. It's a 3rd and 2. We're just underway here in Indianapolis. Collins throws deep downfield. Crowd looking for an interference, and the flag is down. Pierre Garçon, the intended receiver, who was double covered, looked to be Hayden and Adams on the coverage. Referee is Gene Steratore in his 9th season out of Kent State. Also a prominent college basketball official, primarily working in the Big Ten and the Big East, many other conferences.
There are 2 fouls on the play prior to the pass. Illegal contact defense, number 23. That penalty is declined. Also, we have pass interference defense, number 23. That penalty is declined. Line of the foul. First down.
How about that? Rich, a double call on Joe Hayden, the left corner.
A double whammy. Joe Hayden played really well last week, Marv. Right here, you're going to see him panic a little bit. He just grabs Pierre Garçon early. Kerry Collins, he wants to set his feet and want to protect him up and let him throw the ball downfield. That's what he does as well as a lot of quarterbacks in the league. As you mentioned, the 17 years experience, he wants to throw the ball down the field.
That turns out as a 36-yard gain. And now the handoff to a guy, able to cut around the edge and runs it out for a first down. Chased out by Hayden. Let's see where they spot it. Might be just shy.
This is what they have to be able to do better, run the football. There's never been a commitment to running the football since Peyton Manning rolled into town. And they've got to be able to do that now. They've got to be able to make some tough yards on the ground. You've got a couple of good backs with Joseph Dye and DeLon Carter. Both need plenty of touches.
It's second and about a yard. Colts go with a double tight end. Collins looking to his right, has the first down. Brody Eldridge, one of the two tight ends, second-year player out of Oklahoma on the catch. And an Indianapolis first down.
Well, you look at the lack of commitment to running the football. Look, they've actually gone backwards. You look at the rank. This offense has finished in the bottom 4 in rushing 3 seasons in a row, and it's tough. You just can't flip a switch. The offensive line, this offensive line wasn't built to run the football. You've got a wide receiver essentially playing tight end in your offense.
First and 10 from the 23, and again, Dye gets the call. Stopped by Jamie Mitchell, the left defensive end. Joseph Dye last season missed 8 games with that injured shoulder last week. 8 carries, only 39 yards with the Colts, playing from behind right from the start.
Yeah, they need more production. And you talk about this offensive line. The offensive line was built for pass protection. You got a receiving tight end, and up until a few weeks ago, they didn't even have a fullback on the roster. They're predominantly a one-back team.
Second down and 8. Collins with a quick release, but it was thrown behind the intended receiver, Austin Collie.
Well, good job recognizing it by Kerry Collins. They bring Dimitri Patterson right off the edge. You're going to see him right here. Kerry Collins does the next best thing. He throws this little built-in hot route to Austin Collie, but you've got to get it in front of him. You cannot miss this throw on the back shoulder. Kerry had plenty of time to sit in there and make a good throw.
Third down and 8. Again, Collins out of the shotgun formation. Has time, and it's broken up. Intended for Collie, and Dimitri Patterson, the right corner, got a piece of it. So the field goal unit will check in.
Well, Dimitri Patterson is going to get a lot of work today. This Cleveland defense will essentially play with 5 and 6 defensive backs to match up against all these 3 and 4 wide receiver sets against the Indianapolis Colts.
This will be a 39-yard attempt for Adam Vinatieri. That's an angle to the left. Line drives it right through. The Colts with a 3-0 lead, 4.5 gone by in the first. Back in Indianapolis, 10 plays, 67 yards. Colts had it for just under 4.5 minutes. And Vinatieri able to hit from 39 yards out. Joshua Cribbs, one of the best return men in the National Football League, is back for the Browns. And here's Pat McAfee with the kick. Keeping it low. Cribbs deep in the end zone will not be able to run it out. So the Colts have to be happy. Colt McCoy, second-year player for Texas, coming out for the Browns. We'll be right back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
The Browns to the offense for the first time. They have Peyton Hillis And Owen Marisic in the backfield, lined up in the eye. And the handoff to Hillis. Gang tackled as Hillis picked up 2. Colt McCoy, third-round draft pick. Last year, 25 years old, out of the University of Texas.
Well, Marv, I've been very impressed with Colt McCoy. You know, his first 4 starts last year were a good indicator to me. On the road against Pittsburgh and New Orleans, followed by the Patriots and the Jets. He had a rare command of the offense and a presence and poise not often seen in a rookie quarterback.
However, he has lost 6 straight in the NFL after a storied collegiate career. A nice move by Hillis, picked up 5 on the play as we check out the Browns up front, and they led by the left tackle Joe Thomas, who's made it to 4 straight Pro Bowls in his 5th year out of Wisconsin. We've been talking about Hillis, originally a 7th-round draft pick of Denver's. Spent 2 years with the Broncos, had the breakout season a year ago. 3rd and 3 for Cleveland. Pass intended for Mohamed Massaquoi, in motion, going left to right, but it is incomplete, and the Browns will punt.
Marv, you bring up a great point, in motion, and that's a difficult throw to make for Colt McCoy with the receiver coming in motion up the field and running out-breaking routes. It's all timing, and you clearly see there they were not in rhythm.
Brad Maynard, former Chicago Bear, the 3rd punter on the Browns roster already in this only the 2nd game, and that's a beauty. Blair White calls for the fair catch and makes it just inside the 25-yard line. Good hang time on that first punt, 49-yard punt. No return. When we come back, the Colts back in possession.
Well, you always want to have some success on your opening drive. Kerry Collins looked very sharp from short, intermediate passes. You still got to take some shots down the field. He has to remember there's still a lot of firepower in this offense, and if Joseph Adai can run the football, that takes a lot of the pressure off of Kerry Collins in this passing game.
Colts will start out at their 25-yard line. Last Sunday in Houston, Colts blown out by the Texans 34-7. While the Browns blew a 4th quarter lead and lost at home to the Bengals. Collins' pass is batted down. Looked like Phil Taylor, the defensive tackle, rookie out of Baylor, 1st-round pick, got a piece of it.
Well, they really like Phil Taylor. Big, strong man that can push the pocket and also has some athleticism and some good jumps right there. But he's a beast in the middle of that defensive line. They're counting on some big plays from him the rest of the way.
2nd down and 10. A dive straight ahead. 10. A dive straight ahead. Jaquel Jackson, the middle linebacker, getting the reps on a dive. Rich, how about the Colts being a home underdog to a team that has lost 5 straight games dating back to last season?
Well, it's amazing the impact that it's had not having Peyton Manning. You see Clyde Christensen there. He told us on Friday that, you know, he's got his work, his job got much more difficult. And I got a kick out of it. He said that it isn't cancer, but it's pretty serious not having Peyton Manning.
On the 3rd down and 3, it's Altaba Rubin all over Kerry Collins for the sack.
Well, this guy is a very, very good player. The only returning starter from a year ago, you see Altaba Rubin. He's just going to push right in the middle of the pocket. He's working on Jeff Saturday. He gets no help from the guard. And Altaba Rubin can be a handful for any center.
Pat McAfee back to punt at his 10. Cribbs awaits it at the 25. And a booming punt. Cribbs calling fair catch. 47-yard punt. The ball back to the Cavs. To the Browns. Or the Cavs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint. All together now. And by the 2011 GMC Sierra. This truck month, there is no better time to trade up to the best Sierra.
Coming up on the halfway mark of this opening quarter, Browns will start out 1st and 10 from their 28. McCoy able to complete over the middle. He has the tight end Benjamin Watson. Let's check out the defensive unit of the Colts. Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney, a couple of Pro Bowlers on either side. Changes in the middle, as we mentioned earlier. Gary Brackett sidelined by a shoulder injury. Pat Angerin out, the middle linebacker. Philip Wheeler gets the start. And a look at the secondary led by Antoine Buffet. The ball carrier, Hillis, met by Fili Moala, the left defensive tackle. That's a 4-yard advance, and it is a first down for Cleveland.
Well, Marv, I think one of the teams that were impacted the most by the lockout were the Cleveland Browns. You got a new head coach, new coordinators, new systems on both sides of the ball, and a young quarterback in Colt McCoy that's learning a second different system in as many years.
Cribbs now in the backfield. Cribbs on a swing out. They just want the ball in his hands because of his speed and a good second effort. Justin Tryon able to get to Joshua Cribbs.
And you have to find ways to get the ball in the hands of Josh Cribbs, as you mentioned, because good things happen with the ball in his hands. I think he needs to be more involved in this offense, whether it's the wildcat, whether it's reverses, screens, or just putting him at receiver and letting him use his size against smaller defensive backs.
That was a 9-yard pickup, 2nd down and 1 at midfield. This is Hillis trying to make the turn, and a good second effort there for the first down. Now let's go to our New York studios. JB and Dan Marino.
Hey, Marv, Boomer said, let Sanchez go.
Okay, here he is. Drop back off a play-action pass. You can't cover a perfect throw, and that was a perfect throw to Santonio Holmes. 17 yards, touchdown, Jets up by 9.
That's because they added a safety as well. Back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
All right, JB, just under 6 minutes to play in this first quarter. The pass completed to Greg Little. He's a rookie out of North Carolina. That's good for 5, a second-round draft pick. Little played only 1 full season of college ball, was suspended by the NCAA last year because he accepted gifts from an agent. Browns like him, though, made him a second-round pick. Second down and 5. Hillis on a sweep, and he is hit down. Good tackle by Gerard Powers. The right corner coming up to make the stop. 3-yard advance for Hillis. And let's get back to New York to JV.
Hey, Marv, Cam Newton on this one drive looked awfully good, Dan.
And it was the opening drive. He was 6 for 7, 90 yards. This touchdown to Brandon LaFell. Cam Newton looks good, Rich. What do you think?
All right, back to Marv Albert. And, Rich,
really
your
good
answer?
He's looked very good. Just keep letting him throw the football. He's an exciting player to watch.
What an opening game last week, although Cam could not come up with a victory, but put up impressive numbers. Play action. Oh, McCoy took a shot. It was Dwight Freeney with the impact, and it looked like Joe Thomas of the Browns made the recovery.
Well, we're talking about 2 Pro Bowlers going at it. They're very fortunate to get that one back. This is a matchup you want to watch. You're going to see Freeney. He's right on the end of the line of scrimmage. And, of course, Joe Thomas doesn't have any help over there. Freeney just beats you with that speed and quickness around the edge, and you can't hold the ball against this defense. The ball has to come out on that first hitch. Boy, those are the ones that really hurt on Monday morning.
So Brad Maynard into caught on a 4th and 16. And again, Blair White back in single safety. And Carried out of bounds. How about Dwight Freeney, 6-time Pro Bowl defensive end, with a shot at Colt McCoy. Portion of the 63,000 on hand here at Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis. 43-yard punt by Maynard, so the Colts will start out at their 13, and DeLon Carter, rookie out of Syracuse, 4th-round draft pick, is the lone setback, takes the handoff, finds a hole, makes the turn, has the first down and more across the 30. TJ Ward made the stop. DeLon Carter is from Akron, Ohio, grew up watching the Browns, who was a Mr. Ohio in football as a senior at Copley High School.
Well, they do a really nice job on the left side of that offensive line. DeLon Carter, he's a little bit bigger and stronger, a little bit more powerful inside runner for the Colts. I think he's going to get a lot more work this year because of the injury to Peyton Manning.
Carter goes 5'9", about 225. Here's the pressure and the completion to Wayne. Reggie Wayne goes for 19 and a first down.
Well, one of the things the Colts have is a lot of built-in answers for blitz and pressure. And Kerry Collins does a nice job recognizing. You see Reggie Wayne, that's a built-in route, those little under routes. They seem like they have them coming on either side of any formation. If you're going to blitz the Colts, you've got to know they got quick answer throws.
Carter remains as the running back, and a short pickup met by Jamie Mitchell, the left defensive end. Well, you can keep up with the NFL when you're on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Talking with Kerry Collins the other day, he said Rich, he was watching preseason football on TV and started to get the urge, although he says he was at peace at calling it quits. Once again, it's Carter getting to the 45 in Cleveland territory. Went for 3.
Yeah, I think he was excited about it. I don't know if he would have come back and considered a lot of other opportunities other than the Indianapolis Colts. I think he was fascinated. He said he was always curious to see how Peyton Manning did it, a unique opportunity to kind of get a behind-the-scenes access to one of the best offenses in football. And as Kerry said, not just anybody can come here and be a quarterback for the Colts.
Joseph Adai is checked back in, out of the gun. Collins with time, completes to Dallas Clark for another first down, of the Colts looking sharp in this first quarter.
Well, you're talking about one of the better tight ends in the game in Dallas Clark, and the Browns can't let him run through the middle of their secondary. You think about more than 60% of his career completions have gone for first downs, and linebackers, you see right there, that's going to be a problem. Scott Fujita told us last night, we're going to need some help. We can't do it all ourselves. Some in and out coverage, maybe with some help from the safety over the top.
Collins 5 of 8, 45 yards. Fakes the handoff, in trouble, and completes to Wayne. A diving pass inside the 20. Nice move by Kerry Collins.
Well, they blocked him up. The Browns brought pressure. Now you see Kerry Collins in the no huddle. I think this isn't something that Cleveland even anticipated. Here you see pressure up inside. They do a nice job blocking it up. Kerry makes the defender miss and then takes a shot down the field.
That was good for 20, and again, Carter gets the call. He has run well. Met by Phil Taylor, the defensive tackle. Kerry Collins, a one-time teammate of yours with the Oakland Raiders, and was a backup. And then you suffered a neck injury.
Yeah, ironically enough. And, you know, the thing I remember about Kerry is just, aside from his size, big, strong guy, but, you know, he'll sit in there and take a hit. He's got excellent arm strength, and the thing that he does, I think, as well as any quarterback, even at this age, is throw the ball down the field.
Second down and 5. Carter straight ahead. Battles his way inside the 10-yard line. Stopped by Phil Taylor, and that'll do it for this opening quarter. Colts have a 3-0 lead on the Browns. We'll be back to Indianapolis after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. On to the second quarter here at Indianapolis. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. We were talking a moment ago. You and Kerry Collins being teammates in Oakland, and I asked Kerry, what does he remember most about you as a teammate? And he said, he was one of the smartest people I've ever been around, and we were so impressed.
Marv, I've been telling you that since we got together and started working. You got to start listening.
It was like you scripted the guy.
He's not going to lie to you.
Oh, there they are.
Back in our younger days, warming up. You know, he was the thing that impressed me, as I mentioned, his size and his strength, but the way he threw the ball. I mean, he can really chuck the ball down the field. I think this is going to be a perfect fit for this offense.
3rd down and 1. Carter. Let's see where they spot it. DeLon Carter running very well. The Colts see him as their short yardage back. Not able to pick up the first down on that drive. And Adam Vinatieri will come back on. This will be a 27-yard attempt in the first quarter, hit from 39. Angle is to the right. It is a 6-0 lead for Indianapolis. Bill Taylor putting his shoulder into DeLon Carter. So they settle for 3. 10 plays, 78 yards, leading to the 27-yard field goal. Pat McAfee, 3-year man from West Virginia, getting set to kick it away to Joshua Cribbs, who is deep in the end zone. As Cribbs getting the running start, here he comes. Able to stiff arm his way. Try to blow by the kicker, but could not. McAfee making the tackle, but Cribbs, with that blazing speed, goes for 52. He had a 51-yard return last week.
Well, you've got to contain a returner like Josh Cribbs. You can't let him get outside. You see Tryon there. He lets him get outside. And watch him use this stiff arm here at the end. He is a big man to bring down. That's a pretty good effort there by Pat McAfee, the kicker.
Cribbs at about 6'1", 215 pounds, providing excellent field position for the Browns. They start out from their 45. Hillis, very deceptive, able to work his way to midfield. Picked up 4 on the play. Gerard Powers, the right corner, on the tackle. Entertainment Weekly, People Magazine, and USA Today all picked Two Broke Girls as one of TV's best new shows. It premieres tomorrow after 2.5 Men, only CBS. Second down and 5. Off the play action. It is completed to Little, who was submarined close to the marker. Picked up 4. Jacob Lacey, the left quarterback, made the tackle.
Well, you have to see out in front of this throw. It's too deep coverage. Colt McCoy's job is to protect the receiver from these type of hits. Look at the corner. He's watching. He's looking inside the whole way because he knows he's got help over the top. Colt McCoy has to see the corner.
Now they're lined up in the eye, and it's Hillis turned back. Straight ahead move. Not able to pick up the first down. Cavell Connor and Philip Wheeler, the outside linebackers, made the stop.
Well, they've got their big people in there, and you see Pat Shurmur, he's got a decision to make now. He wants a measurement. You've got to be able to pick up those a yard or less in the running game. You've got one of the best short yardage runners in Peyton Hillis and a smaller front seven. This Indianapolis defense is not the biggest front seven in football.
Pat Shurmur will get the measurement. It's right at the marker, perhaps inches away. So it is short. Incidentally, Rich, this was not a relaxing trip for the Browns making their way from Cleveland to Indianapolis. It seems the team charter flight in the midst of takeoff went off the runway, led to the tires getting stuck in the grass, which was muddy. So the team had to file off the plane. All the football gear and equipment was removed. They had to wait for another charter flight to arrive in Cleveland. 3.5 hours later, the Browns show up in Indianapolis. Not a happy group, and they're going for it on 4th down.
When you worry about the crowd noise, whether they can get off, maybe no snap, no play, they go to the quarterback sneak.
It appears that McCoy picked up the first down. I'm told that several players asked for bonus mileage points after that flight.
But, if you let it be, that those distractions can be a real issue if you let it. You watch the quarterback sneak here. Good quarterback sneak. The quarterback's got to get down, protect the football, and get some push behind that wedge on the right side of the offensive line. Sometimes you've got to get even lower. Find a little hole between their legs.
First down inside the Colt 45. 3.5 gone by. Second quarter. Here's Hillis in the flats. Hillis puts the speed on and is run out of bounds. Nice play, McCoy to Hillis. Jacob Lacey, the left corner, got him out, and it's a 19-yard gain.
And we forget just what kind of athlete Peyton Hillis is. He's a tight end, a fullback, a running back, wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner at Arkansas. Really did it all, and he catches the ball really, really well. Second leading receiver last year. That's a good outlet for Colt McCoy.
Peyton Hillis out of Conway, Arkansas, in his 4th NFL season. Played his football at Arkansas. It's Hillis again. Picked up 3 on the play. Antoine Bethea made the stop. Hillis, also very exciting runner. He would leap over would-be defenders, and they have talked him that he better cut down on that because it's a very easy way to get hurt.
Yeah, it is. Marv, you and I were looking at some video last night of Peyton Hillis, some of the great runs. He's such a good athlete at times. He's left his feet. You've got to be smart. It's an easy way to get a knee injury. He's so powerful. He's got such a low center of gravity. I think he'll do more damage on the ground.
Second down and 7. Off the play action. McCoy in trouble, was able to get it off. A diving catch made at the 20 by the fullback Owen Marisic, rookie from Stanford. In fact, the first Browns rookie to start at fullback in 5 years. The last was Lawrence Vickers.
Well, you're seeing a lot of play action. You cannot hold the football. You see Mathis right there. You can't hold the football against these two defensive ends. It'll cost you. The ball has to come out.
And they are challenging that completed pass. You could hear the reaction from the crowd as they posted it on the video board above. Indianapolis crowd feeling that he scooped
Indianapolis
it up.
is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch. Timeout.
All right, we'll take another look as the officials check it out. Rich, what do you think?
Well, I think it bounced and hit the ground right there. He traps it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. E-Trade, investing unleashed. And by KFC Popcorn Chicken. Today tastes so good.
After review, it has been determined that the ball did skip off of the ground, which makes it an incomplete forward pass. It will be Cleveland's ball, 3rd down and 7. The ball will be placed at the 22.5-yard line. Indianapolis is not charged with the timeout. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 10 minutes, 22 seconds. 10:22 on the game clock.
Then you go back and you look at it, Marisic there, you can see it clearly. It bounces first and hits the ground. You know, they need more production out of the passing game. When you think about last year, the top two leading receivers were the tight end and the running back. I just think they need someone to emerge from that wide receiver group. Whether it's Robisky or Massaquoi or the second-round pick Greg Little, they need to get the ball outside.
Massaquoi split out wide to the right. McCoy from the gun. And completes inside the 15 for a first down. Mohamed Massaquoi on the reception. Taken down by Jacob Lacey. It's a pickup of 8 and a Browns first down.
Well, we just talked about getting the ball outside, and whether it's Massaquoi or Robisky, both have flashed potential but have lacked consistency. I think part of it has been they've missed time with some injuries. You see a good throw here by Colt McCoy. Colt told us last night they have to find their rhythm early in the passing game.
This is Hillis churning away, running hard, gets 5 on that carry, met by Cavell Connor, the weak side linebacker.
There's not a lot of negative runs when you watch Peyton Hillis run the football. He is like a bowling ball. And I think he's one of those backs that seems to get stronger as the game goes on. They have to keep feeding Peyton Hillis the rock.
Second down and 5 inside the 10. 10th play of this drive for the Browns. Play action. The screen to Hillis. Flag is down. Hillis so difficult to get down. Cavell Connor finally shoved him out of bounds.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That is called on Artis Hicks, starting at right tackle for the injured Tony Pashos. He and O'Neal Cousins rotating at right tackle.
Well, yeah, he's got his hands full right there. And you just see right inside, he's going to grab Jamal Anderson. And Gene Steratore right there to make the call.
Browns are set back to a second and 15.
Boy, penalties in the red zone absolutely kill you. Screen.
Set up beautifully for Hillis. And he is taken down. Jacob Lacey with the tackle. Just a 3-yard pickup. And penalties really hurt the Browns last week. They were called for 11 and all 7 of the 11 in the first quarter. And last season the Browns were number 3 in terms of fewest penalties in the NFL.
Well, they need to eliminate the self-inflicted wounds. It was a problem last week, the penalties. Penalties, turnovers, missed assignments are just not good enough to be able to overcome all the mistakes.
And one of those mistakes, the quick snap that cost them in the fourth quarter turned out to be the game winner for Cincinnati. Here's McCoy running out of the pocket. McCoy throws on the run. It is caught. Touchdown. Evan Moore, the 6'6" backup tight end, on a 16-yard pass play, and beautiful maneuverability by the quarterback Colt McCoy.
Really nice job by Colt McCoy moving around, and Larry Corey, the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts, told us this is going to be a problem when he gets outside the pocket because he can run the football. The other thing is Evan Moore. He's a tight end, but he's really a wide receiver. Marv, you mentioned at 6'6". They love to get him down here in this part of the field. Very nifty for a big man. Real problem for that secondary.
Phil Dawson on for the extra point. Browns have taken a 7-6 lead.
Yeah, when you give Colt McCoy this much time and you allow a receiver like Evan Moore to run free in the back of the end zone, that is tough deal for that defense.
Browns, despite that big penalty, able to persevere. 11 plays, 55 yards in just under 6.5 minutes, leading to the touchdown throw to the big tight end. Evan Moore. And now Phil Dawson will kick it away. The rookie Joe LaFage is back. LaFage stumbling and then recovered. Sometimes that will throw the special teams off. Little stumble, but ends up as a 32-yard return. Buster Screen got him out of bounds.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by Viagra.
Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan Boomer, Coach Cowher, and former Jet and Panther Chris Jenkins for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, off day for Shannon Sharpe, being honored in Denver for his recent Hall of Fame induction. There's Mike Pollock, who has just come on, replacing the right guard Ryan Dean, who we're told suffered an ankle injury. And Collins able to hit Adai over the middle. Good second effort by Joseph Adai, able to move the chains. It is a first down to Quell Jackson on the stop, so that's an 11-yard advance. We're also told that the umpire, Bill Schuster, in this first half twisted his ankle, and he is out the rest of the way. Rich, are you okay injury-wise?
I'm feeling good, Marv.
Good.
That has an impact on those guys up front, I'm telling you.
The Schuster injury or the Dean injury?
Well, both. Not having Ryan Dean in there is going to hurt the Colts, but also now what happens is that the field judge has to go back and replace the umpire. So this does affect the crew now. They have to move around a little bit. You see the field judge right here. He has to go back opposite Gene Steratore, the referee. So this is a little bit of a change for the field judge.
Second down and 9 with Austin Collie off that swing pass. And he is run out at midfield. Went for 5, run out by Jabal Shear, the right defensive end.
Now, prior to the start of the series, I was looking at Indy's distribution in terms of run to pass. You see Carey just kicked this one out to Austin Collie. Just want to get the ball in the perimeter. 11 runs and 10 passes. And that's pretty good offensive balance. They have not had that type of ratio here in a long, long time.
Colts trailing the Browns 7-6. Collins stepping up, completes for the first down. And a flag comes flying. Pierre Garçon on the catch. Pierre out of Mount Union, Division III school in Alliance, Ohio, which is right outside of Canton. So another member of the Colts following the Browns as a youngster.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense, number 23. Penalties declined. Result of the play, first down.
Called on the left corner, Joe Hayden. It is, as you heard, declined, and it is a first down.
Well, they run all these option routes where they work inside and out. Nice job by Kerry Collins sliding up into that pocket. His movement, to me, looks better than it did last week. Getting away from center and also in the pocket.
Showing more confidence after that terrible start a week ago. This is the rookie, Delon Carter, who's run very well. Pulling his way, stopped by Chris Gokong, the weak side linebacker, and Carter with another 6.
And what you have to keep reminding yourself is that, yeah, Peyton Manning's not here, but they still have a lot of Pro Bowlers on this offense. Good movement up front. Really nice job by that offensive line. You see Lincoln Bach, he pulls around. Nice job by Pollock. He's up on the second level. He's walking the linebackers back into the secondary. Good movement by that offensive line.
Pollock coming on for Dean just a moment ago. Here's a dive with that second effort to collect the first down. Usama Young coming up from safety to make the stop. Joseph Adai goes for 5 and another Indianapolis first down.
Well, we forget, Joseph Adai, very capable, Marv, of running the football and being very decisive. I mean, he hits the hole quick. He's a quality back. Guy that rushed for over 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons. His problem is he hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities and carries in the running game. He missed a lot of games last year because of the injury, but also because of the way this offense has been built.
And you saw the play selection, which for a Peyton Manning-led Colts team would be considered most unusual.
Absolutely. Things are going to change, and in a big way here in Indianapolis.
A programming reminder, Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, Warren Sapp return to cable's longest running show. Dramatic poses by the guys inside the NFL every Wednesday on Showtime. Off that last run, the Colts have now rushed for 66 yards. They have already surpassed all of what took place last week in the blowout at the hands of Houston. Play fake by Collins. He throws and it's dropped. Dallas Clark could not hold on.
Well, you got to have an answer for how you're going to handle Dallas Clark, and right now it's going to be with the safety, and a very good one at that, and T.J. Ward. A better throw there probably gets it done.
T.J. Ward in his second year out of Oregon, a second-round draft pick last year, had a strong rookie season, now looking to that next level. Second down and 10. A guy tried to stiff arm his way and could not make the turn. Joe Hayden staying with him, coming up from left corner. How about Joe Hayden? First-round pick last year. Defensive coordinator Dick Duran very pleased with Hayden's play last week, because Hayden broke up 5 pass plays. That's a huge number.
I think he's a very good player. I think he has star potential. He loves to compete. You mentioned the game last week. I thought he was outstanding. Very good in coverage, and he'll come up and hit you. I mean, run support is something that he does not shy away from.
Third down and 12. Collins again getting the tie, but overthrows. Austin Collie was pretty well covered. And you can hear the anxiety in this crowd. This after the good start by Collins and the Colts, although they had to settle for a couple of field goals.
Well, the third straight time now that they've gotten down here and had to settle for a field goal. And I think you've got to be patient with Kerry Collins. It's not going to happen overnight. This is an offense that's been put together for the past 14 years with Peyton Manning. Kerry Collins has only been here 3.5 weeks.
This from 52. It's a line drive by Vinatieri, and it's right there. Adam Vinatieri, 3 for 3. He's hit from 39, from 27, and from 52. So the Colts are back on top. Vinatieri is connected on his last 22 attempts here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. Colts try to bounce back from the loss to the Texans last week. The Browns last week in their home opener lost to the Bengals. Cleveland had taken a 17-13 lead late into the fourth quarter, but Cincinnati with 14 points in the fourth to pull it out. And the key play was the Browns slow out of the defensive huddle, and it was a quick snap, and that really cost.
A major snafu when you go back and you look at last week against the Bengals, Marv. They were caught off guard, and it cost them big time. It should never have happened. You have deep defensive backs that could have gone out and covered up. Someone on the field or even a coach could have called a timeout. You know, you work so hard, you put yourself in those situations, you've got to be able to finish late.
The kickoff, and Joshua Cribbs will stay right there. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Thursday on CBS CY TV guide called Person of Interest, a must-see mystery. Emmy winner Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel will star in Person of Interest, premiering Thursday only CBS. Look at the Browns' first 3 possessions. Punt, and they rallied after a critical penalty and were able to score.
They did a nice job mixing it up on the early downs. You've got to be successful on the early downs against this defense. It was a major problem for the Browns a week ago.
1st and 10 from the 20 as the flag is thrown.
Offside. Defense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
That's the right defensive tackle, Eric Foster.
Yeah, he's just right here. I mean, you just watch. He's a little bit early. He's trying to jump the snap. And as he sees Colt McCoy's head start coming back, he just shoots the gap.
1st down and 5 at the 25. 3.5 to play 1st half. Hillis picked up 3 on the play. Tyler Brayton, 6'6", 9-year man out of Colorado, coming up from his defensive end position.
And I just think you need to keep finding ways to get Peyton Hillis touches. As you see Pat Shurmur there, he's such a tough guy to bring down in the open field. And if you don't run it to him, you don't hand the ball to him, then you toss it to him or you throw it to him because he can make big plays for you.
2nd and 2, and nearly picked off. Gerard Powers had an opportunity. The pass intended for the rookie, Greg Little.
Well, he saw this one coming the whole way. I mean, he's sitting there waiting on it, and he jumps the route. Colt McCoy very fortunate here. He's late with his eyes. And you see right there, Gerard Powers almost makes that play.
That brings up a 3rd and 2 from the 28. Hillis and the backfield alongside McCoy completes for the 1st down. Muhammad Massaquoi stopped by Jacob Lacey. That's an 8-yard hookup. And with just under 3 to go in this 1st half, Browns have a 1st down at their 37-yard line.
Well, you get that matchup that you like. Muhammad Massaquoi is a bigger receiver at 6'2" on the smaller corner, Jacob Lacey.
McCoy on the rollout. And that's off the mark. Intended for Alex Smith. 6'4" tight end. Last season, the Browns 5-11. They lost 6 of their final 8, including their final 4. And Rich, their last win was November the 28th in Cleveland, a 1-pointer over Carolina on a late field goal by Phil Dawson.
This team has to learn how to win, Marv, late in games. In the 4th quarter, they need to figure a way to finish teams off.
Yeah, they've had their problems, particularly in the 4th quarter. Here's the screen, and Hillis is stopped. He was submarine. Picked up a yard. Jacob Lacey was right there. Took the impact, but was able to get to Hillis. 2 minutes remaining in this 1st half. And the Colts with a 9-7 lead on the Browns. Now check this out a moment ago. Listen to this.
Sometimes you can hear a tackle better than you can just hear a little bit of a mismatch there size-wise. Lacey 175 pounds, Peyton Hillis 255 pounds, but if you hit them low, they'll go down.
Cleveland has a 3rd and 8 from their 39 with 2 minutes to play. 1st half. Swing pass to Cribbs. Cribbs able to break free. Tackled from behind at the 35. Justin Tryon. After Cribbs went for 26 yards.
Well, not very difficult. I mean, he's going to kick the ball out to Josh Cribbs. And he just runs behind some really good blocks from his tight end and wide receiver. 1st down for the Browns. They spotted at the 36.
Another completion. This time it's the tight end Smith. Picked up 7 on the play. And a timeout taken by Cleveland. First timeout that they have used. A reminder coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Join JB, Dan, Boomer, Coach Cowher, former Jet, Panther Chris Jenkins, sitting in for Shannon Sharp. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Boy, there's been a series of impactful hits throughout this first half.
Yeah, really from the get-go, and it's come from both sides. You see Otava Rubin there. He got it started with Kerry Collins. Peyton Hillis, anytime he runs, there's going to be a collision. Phil Taylor in the middle of the defense. These cold corners will hit you, and, of course, you've got to have answers for Freeney and Mathis.
Browns looking at a second down and 3 at the Indianapolis 29. McCoy in trouble. McCoy throwing, and it is caught. What a catch by Mohamed Massaquoi. It'll be first and goal on a 28-yard pass play.
Well, the Colts have been hurt defensively when Colt McCoy has gotten outside the pocket and extended plays. That's a very tough assignment there for Jacob Lacey. That back shoulder throw, very difficult to defend.
Third catch from Massaquoi. First and goal, inches away. Here is Hillis. Touchdown. Peyton Hillis able to ram it in from the left side. Entangling with Robert Mathis. And the play of that drive, the pass from Colt McCoy to Mohamed Massaquoi.
Another look at the touchdown run, and you know Peyton Hillis, he always seems to fall forward at the end of runs. Mathis gets there early, but Faye's got a shot at him, but he is a load to bring down in that part of the field.
9 plays, 80 yards in 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
The previous play is under review.
Under the new rules this season regarding touchdowns, the league changing its policy on instant replay. Every touchdown is eligible for booth review. Of course, within the 2-minute frame, they could also review it. Referees can use their discretion to take another look.
Well, he actually extends the ball on a second effort there. Clearly, that ball is over the line. You go back and take a look at it. You're going to see it right there. You're going to see him extend the ball. You wonder if that knee is down though. There's the ball comes across. Now, whether or not that left knee was down. See that left knee. Oh, it's tough to tell if it actually hits. The early penetration is really what hurts him there. You can see Mathis, he comes in. You can see right there whether that knee is down. Boy, it's tough to tell, even when you blow it up. You know, can you assume with shadows and everything else that left knee is down? Just watch that left knee. Yeah, you see right there now. It's a better look at it.
And you can hear the applause because there are fans in the various suites surrounding the stadium that are watching our telecast.
And they're watching the monitors as well.
Right. And they just certainly enjoyed that last video replay.
And if you're Pat Shurmur now, you have to stay in front of it. Now you have to think about another play. What do you like next? What personnel group? If you're going to throw the ball, this is probably the down to throw it, second down and not third down. Or do you just hand it to Peyton Hillis once again?
Been an impressive drive from McCoy, 5 of 7, 71 yards.
He's looked better. I mean, he needs, for this offense I think to get to the next level, they're going to need help on the perimeter. But, you know, the quarterback to me has looked really good, moving around, extending plays with his legs, and making some very good, accurate throws down the field.
All right, the referee, Gene Steratore, over at the Browns sideline. They took a long look, as we did, until they were able to locate the angle they were looking for. Number 114 is the referee, talking with the head coach, Pat Shermer. 33 seconds to play in this first half, and now we'll get the official word.
Well, obviously the offense is back on the field. My sense is...
After review, it has been determined that the runner's left knee was down prior to the ball crossing the goal line. The ball will be down just inside the 1-yard line, just inside the left hash mark. Because the play was ruled a score, and after review, it has been determined that the runner is down in bounds. 10-second runoff rules will apply. Cleveland has elected not to take a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff, so we will take 10 seconds off of the game clock. The game clock will now read 23 seconds, and we will start the play on the ready for play signal. The clock will start on the ready for play.
As always, a very comprehensive rundown by Gene Steratore.
Really nice job by Gene, and you can see the Browns already lined up, because on the ready now, they'll start this clock. I think it's a good decision by Pat Shermer not to use the timeout in that situation.
Second and goal at the 1. And again, Hillis, and this time there's no doubt about it. Touchdown, Cleveland. Excellent blocking on the left side of the line.
Well, they've got a big fullback with Marisic and a big tailback in Peyton Hillis. That's about 500 pounds coming at you right downhill. See, nice job cleaning up anger in the hole, and then Peyton Hillis just does the rest.
So the Browns score touchdowns on both of their second quarter drives, and now here's Phil Dawson with just 15 seconds remaining in the half. A high snap, and Dawson is able to put it through. So we're down to 15 seconds to go in the half. Now, Rich, last week we introduced a new feature to our telecast entitled Going Deep, which has received underwhelming reaction.
Rave reviews.
But I know your staff has come up with a winner today involving the Brown star running back, Peyton Hillis.
Well, yeah, we have to go all the way back to high school with Peyton Hillis, back to Conway, Arkansas. And at Conway High School, where he was an outstanding prep athlete. His high school mascot, Marv, the Wampus Cat, a mythical six-legged creature with 4 legs to run like the speed of light and 2 to fight with all his might. Marv, you can't even make it up.
You sure it's mythical?
It is mythical. I looked it up.
Rich, I think what you are doing is groundbreaking, which viewers will eventually come to grips with.
Last week it was Ryan Fitzpatrick wearing that wedding band,
yes,
that wedding ring on his ring finger during the game. This week, it's the Wampus Cat.
Rich reviewing Going Deep as we flash.
It's going to be a sponsored segment next week.
I don't know about that. It's not get crazy. Deep kick, and they'll bring it out to the 20. Joe LaFege will not even take a shot.
Well, Kerry Collins, they've got to make some adjustments at halftime in the locker room. They've moved the ball, they've gotten down in the red zone, but then they've stalled. But he, to me, Marv, looks a lot more comfortable. The ball's coming out. They've been in the no huddle. I think he's got a much better feel for what they're trying to get accomplished offensively.
Just 15 seconds. Collins will take a knee. Collins 9 of 14 for 88 yards. So that is the end of the first half. Cleveland Browns with a 14-9 lead on the Indianapolis Colts. 3 field goals for Adam Vinatieri. Just moments ago, Hillis, after the review negated that first plunge from inches away, was able to take it in to give Cleveland the lead. We'll take a break. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. Halftime in Indianapolis, and the Browns have a 14-9 lead on the Colts. Marv Albert with Rich Gannon, and a strong turnaround for Cleveland after a slow start.
You're right, Marv. The first 2 possessions of the game for Cleveland ended in punts. The second 2 possessions in the second quarter both ended in touchdown drives, one of 11 yards and one of 11 plays and one of 10 plays. They really settled down and played much better in the second quarter.
And a big play in that second quarter as we take a look at the NFL Mobile Recap presented by Verizon. It was Colt McCoy able to find Mohamed Massaquoi, the 3-year man out of Georgia, 28-yard pass play to set things up inches away from the goal line, and eventually Peyton Hillis was able to take it in from the left side to give the Browns the 14-9 lead.
Well, fairly even when you look at the numbers in the first half. I think you look at just 36 yards rushing from Cleveland, and that's going to make Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, very happy. If they can stop the run and force Colt McCoy to throw the ball a bunch here in the second half, that really plays into the strength of this Indy defense.
Pat McAfee will kick it off. You see Joshua Cribbs, who had that 49-yard return, and this one is high and far.
That drives Josh Cribbs absolutely crazy. He just wants to get his hands on the ball and bring it out.
It's a powerful kick by McAfee as the combination punter and kickoff man. See the numbers. McCoy 13 of 17, 142 yards. Really picked it up, as we said, in that second quarter. And Collins 9 for 14 for 88 yards.
I thought Colt McCoy really did a nice job, Marv, as you mentioned, in the second quarter. It was short and intermediate throws, and it was great movement in the pocket by Colt McCoy.
They lined up in an offset eye. The pitch to Hillis. And it takes a couple of defenders to bring him down, led by Pat Angera, who is playing middle linebacker for the injured Gary Brackett. Hillis picked up 2 on the play. Philip Wheeler starting at strong side with Angera in the middle and Connor on the other side.
Yeah, I just think there's going to be a lot of teams are going to try and run the ball at this Indy defense until they can stop it. And that's going to be the challenge for these linebackers in this defense.
Greg Little split wide to the right. Play fake to Hillis. And then the pass is caught. Peyton Hillis in the right flat, met by Angera. It's a 4-yard advance. Just underway in this third quarter with a minute gone by. Both teams trying to turn it from what took place last week. The Colts blown out in Houston with Kerry Collins starting for the injured Peyton Manning, and the Browns had that 17-13 lead in the fourth quarter at home against Cincinnati and lost the game 27-17 out of the gun. McCoy has it tipped away, and it is incomplete. Pass intended for Little. Lacey got a piece of it, but a flag is down.
I think they're going to call Lacey. He was hanging on Greg Little there.
Pass interference, defense, number 53, spotted a foul, automatic, first down.
Well, this is why they went out and got Greg Little. He's a physical receiver who has the ability to rack up some yards after the catch. And, you know, it's a size matchup. You look at Greg Little and you look at Lacey and just use that big body to run that slant.
1st and 10 for the Browns, up at the 32. Nice toss over the middle to the tight end, Benjamin Watson. That's good for 9 on the play. It's been a quiet day to this point for Watson, only his 2nd catch. Last year, career high 68 receptions for Watson.
He led the team in receptions. And you learn early in this business, you never go broke taking a profit. Those tight ends should catch 8 to 10 balls every week.
2nd and a yard, and Hillis appears to have the first down. Is that what you would tell your tight ends? 8 to 10?
Absolutely. Just keep feeding them the rock. Well, Peyton Hillis, talk about feeding someone the rock. It's got to be Peyton Hillis. They've got to continue to give him opportunities. And I just love the way he runs. He runs with power. He finishes runs. He runs with a head of steam, really. And I think this has got to be the focal point of this offense this year. It's all got to go through Peyton Hillis.
First down for Cleveland from their 43. Again, the play fake. McCoy couldn't find anyone and then threw it away. Let's see if... apparently it's called an incomplete pass. Angerer on the pursuit, providing the problem for McCoy.
And you get a good look at the matchup of the day. I think it's 2 Pro Bowlers, Joe Thomas and Dwight Freeney. Thomas does a much better job making him run the hump all the way around, and Colt McCoy has done a better job stepping up in the pocket, knowing what the issues are on his blind side.
2nd and 10 at the 43. Massaquoi flanked wide to the right. There's Hillis. This time a straight ahead move by Peyton Hillis. He went for 4. Hillis, at originally a 7th round draft pick of the Broncos. He spent 2 years with Denver. Last season was a breakout year, 1,177 yards rushing plus 61 catches.
Well, he's an absolute load to bring down, and we've already seen throughout the course of this game he's a receiving threat as well out of the backfield.
Browns have a 3rd and 6. McCoy facing pressure, able to elude it, runs for the first down. Robert Mathis trying to get to the quarterback, and a nice move by McCoy, who went for 9.
Well, here's the issue. Mathis is going to get upfield, but watch Colt McCoy step up once he senses the rush. This is a really nice job by the young quarterback. Pressure, step up, slide to his right, and then pull it down. And this is what Larry Coyer was really worried about, the defensive coordinator of the Colts. Colt McCoy running the football, he thought that could be a problem.
First down at the Indianapolis 44-yard line. Hillis, the ball knocked out of his hands. Colts have recovered. Antoine Buffet, the free safety, comes up with the loose ball. Antoine Buffet, the 2-time Pro Bowl free safety, in his 5th year out of Howard. And that is the first turnover for either team. When we come back, Indianapolis back in possession. Back in Indianapolis off that fumble recovery. Hillis coughed it up. Wheeler with the big hit. Buffet on the recovery. Colts start out at their 40. It's their best starting field position of the day. Adai making that catch underneath and bringing to the 48. Picked up 8 yards. Phil Taylor made the stop.
Then we go back and look at the fumble. Johnson does a nice job, but Phil Wheeler is the guy that really comes in and punches it out. And right there, you've got to do a better job if you're Peyton Hillis of taking care of the football. Ball security has been a little bit of an issue in the past with Peyton Hillis putting it on the ground. Phil Wheeler getting the start today in place of Gary Brackett, who's out with a shoulder injury.
Adai running well, has the first down. Joseph Adai making it to the Pro Bowl 4 years ago. Set a Super Bowl record 5 years back for a running back. 10 catches, 66 yards. Been hurt the last couple of seasons. Missed 8 games last year with that injured shoulder. He went for 5 and a first down at the Cleveland 47. Again, it is Adai. Adai breaking tackles. Worked his way inside the 35. T.J. Ward coming up from strong safety, but Adai runs for 15.
Really nice job by this right side of the offensive line, and also the tight end. You get good movement at the point, and Joseph Adai, before you know it, he's in the secondary. You see Jeff Saturday, he comes off, he locks up Jackson. And they've been running the ball very, very well on the perimeter.
Colts first down at the Browns 32. Again, it's Adai, able to stutter step his way to the 25. Add 7 more to the rushing total of Adai, 11 carries.
Well, you see Joseph Adai very light on his feet. He's got good scoots and hold. Watch him hop, bounce out to the left. Looks like a slalom skier going downhill. But I like the way he's finished. He's running hard right now with a little bit of an attitude.
50 yards on 11 carries for Adai. Now the rookie DeLon Carter is in the lineup, takes the handoff. Carter breaks a tackle. Carter inside the 15. Another Colts first down. T.J. Ward, the strong safety, finally put him down, but Carter, who has also run well, picks up 12 and some sloppy tackling, Rich, on the part of the Browns.
Well, they're getting pushed off the ball. And remember now, there's been a lot of talk around here whether or not this offensive line can block in the running game. Can they move people? They're built to pass protect. They're taking this challenge upon them. Look at 102 yards already on the ground.
First down at the 13. This time, Carter with nowhere to go. He's hit back behind the line. Lost 4 on the play. Quick move by Jabal Sheard, the right defensive end, the rookie out of Pitt.
Well, Sheard has done a really nice job penetrating. You're going to see him right here. He jumps right in the gap. And Lincolnbach, he can't get back and make that play. Penetration in the running game absolutely kills you. Sheard has done a nice job today. You see their second-round pick. He and Phil Taylor making some plays in the middle of that Cleveland defense.
Collins out of the shotgun, pumps, and it's broken up. Garcon took the hit, not able to hang on. Gokhan made the contact. It'll be a 3rd and 15.
Well, they've really struggled in this part of the field, and the big reason why is they've not been very good on 1st and 2nd down. They've settled for 3 field goals in this part of the field. The field gets shorter, and there's not these holes. You've got to be able to puncture a seam when you begin to throw the ball down here. Cleveland's done a good job mixing and matching coverages.
Collins with protection. He floated it, and it was nearly picked by T.J. Ward. Pass intended for Austin Collie.
T.J. Ward saw that one coming the whole way. And we talk about situational football and how it's different. 3rd down in the red zone is a lot different. You can see Kerry Collins just not sure. He's having to settle on that back foot. He never feels T.J. Ward, who's out in front of that crossing route.
Here's Adam Vinatieri to attempt a 36-yarder. He is 3 for 3. He's hit from 39, 27, and 52. Vinatieri does it again. And this is what set up the Colts drive as Hillis had it punched out of his hands. It was recovered by the Colts.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. State Farm, for auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
With kickoffs now taking place at the 35-yard line, Pat McAfee of the Colts has done a good job. Joshua Cribbs did have that 52-yard return in the first half. The last one was put not only over his head, but nearly into the stands. Let's see how Cribbs plays this. Oh, he wants to take it out. And he is stacked up across the 20-yard line. Jacob Tammy was right there, so Cribbs did get the opportunity, but just brought it across the 20-yard line. Welcome back to Indianapolis, Indiana. Marv Albert with Rich Gannon. 6:45 to play in this third quarter. The Browns with a 14-12 lead on the Colts. Cleveland ball, 1st and 10 from the 22. McCoy able to float it out for the completion at a first down. Greg Little, the rookie from North Carolina, stopped by Gerard Powers. That's good for an 18-yard advance. Well, tomorrow, Dave's all new with CSI's Ted Danson. And then later this week, Taylor Lautner, Medal of Honor recipient Sergeant Dakota Meyer, followed by Craig Ferguson, only CBS. It's like Melvin Bullitt, the strong safety for the Colts, shake it up and will step away.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Ford. Drive one. And by DirecTV. This season, NFL Sunday Ticket is included when you switch.
Apparently the strong safety Melvin Bullitt took a poke to the eye, and he heads to the Colts sideline, replaced by David Caldwell, first-year player out of William & Mary. 1st and 10 for Cleveland from their 40. And Hillis straight ahead. Met by Angera. Picked up 2 on the play.
Marv, I got a kick out of our conversation yesterday with Colts defensive coordinator Larry Coyer. I love when he talked about the fact that, without Peyton Manning, he realizes that his job's going to get a lot more difficult. And he said this defense was built to play with the lead. He says now we have to play defense to get a lead. And we can't go with the big plays. In fact, we need to generate big plays to help our offense. And that's really the challenge for this Colts defense.
And you asked the question of the head coach, Jim Caldwell. We'll get back to that in a moment. Here's the play fake. McCoy able to connect. Smith prevented from picking up the first down. Took the hit from Drake Nevis. Alex Smith with the catch. That's good for 8.
Well, you get a good look here at Joe Thomas. He's played at a Pro Bowl level since entering the league in 2007. This is just stymieing Dwight Freeney at the line of scrimmage. He's an excellent pass protector. I think he's a technician. He's got great feet, very long arms, and he uses his hands very, very well.
Well, they gave a favorable spot. It is a first out of midfield. Hillis trying to change direction, and he is gang tackled after a short pickup. I know you raised the question to Jim Caldwell. What happens when Peyton Manning starts coming around to practice, as he will, because he adds so much? It's almost as if he is the offensive coordinator. when he's in there. And Caldwell said, we look at Peyton as intellectual property. We'll utilize him in terms of suggestions, and we like to see his energy around the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when he recovers, he starts coming back to the facility. He's a football junkie, can't get enough of it, and you need to find a way to stimulate him and keep him involved in this offense.
2nd and 8 at the Indianapolis 48-yard line off the play fake. Oh, good coverage as Hillis is hit down, making the catch, but Buffet was right there.
Well, the defensive ends have done a really good job getting upfield, forcing Colt McCoy to make some quick decisions. You see Mathis, he's not even blocked. Nice job by the quarterback getting rid of it, and a really good job by Buffet being in the right place at the right time.
Fans here on their feet urging the Colts defensive unit on. It's a 3rd and long. 3rd at about 9. McCoy throwing deep and broken up. Almost picked off. The pass intended for Muhammad Massaquoi, and Antoine Buffet, who's been all over the field, got a piece of it.
You go back, look at both the receivers. They're going to chip in route. They chip both ends to slow down Freeney and Mathis, and that gives Colt McCoy at least some time to make a throw down the field.
3rd punt of the day for Brad Maynard. Blair White is back. Maynard able to angle it. Nice punt, not allowing the return as it carries out of bounds. Coming up on 3 minutes to play here in the 3rd. 2-point lead for the Browns. Colts take over at their 17-yard line. Here's some good news, bad news in terms of stats, Rich. Indianapolis has scored on 4 of its 6 possessions. The bad news, all 4 have been field goals.
Yeah, they stumbled down in the red zone.
Collins with the play fake and fires deep downfield. The pass intended for Pierre Garçon. Crowd looking for interference. Will not get the call. Joe Hayden providing the coverage.
Well, you think about how this offense has changed without Peyton Manning. You go back and you remember all that was done at the line of scrimmage, the checks, the calls, the code words, change in plays, run to pass, pass to run. This is the biggest change I think you'll see with this offense now with Kerry Collins. I mean, this is 14 years in the making. Nothing Kerry can do in a matter of a month or two to learn that system that quickly.
Joseph Adai gets the call. Collins now 10 of 18 for 96 yards. Adai picking up 3, stopped by the 12. Jackson, what do you see different about
Well, I
Collins?
think there's less volume. I think there's certainly less no huddle. The tempo's not the same as it used to be. Very difficult for defenses to make substitutions. For us to get promos in, you know how difficult that used to be.
That's a good point.
But this offense has changed. I mean, I remember talking to Clyde on Friday about everything was up and available in the game plan, regardless of whether we practiced it, regardless of whether it was actually installed. Peyton would go back to things we ran 3 and 4 years ago, and players were responsible.
A lot of time for Collins on a 3rd and 7. He pops one out there. It is incomplete again. Fans looking for interference. Reggie Wayne, the intended receiver, played by T.J. Ward.
Well, you've got to give the receivers a chance to make some plays. I think this is a good no call. You're going to see Reggie Wayne up top. Corner passes him off to the safety, and this makes Ward a little nervous. I just think they get tangled up, and Reggie can't get that left hand away from the safety.
2nd punt for McAfee, looking to angle it. Gets the good hang time, and it will carry out of bounds, so no return again for Krebs. Hear the booing from the crowd reacting to what they felt should have been consecutive interference calls. 46-yard punt. The ball back to the Browns. When it comes to solving mysteries, she can do anything but forget. Poppy Montgomery, Dylan Walsh Star and Unforgettable. Premieres Tuesday, only CBS.
Well, it looks like Reggie Wayne's a little frustrated. And you talk about how this offense is going to change. It impacts everybody. Less no huddle, probably talking about 10 or 15 less plays a game. You're also looking at running the ball more. Less opportunities for Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark in the passing game.
Browns will start at 33. As you can see, the crowd still upset about that last possession by the Colts. Hillis. And again, they have to gang tackle him. Angra and Brayton combined to make the stop, so they hold him to a 3-yard gain.
Even when you get your hands on Peyton Hillis at or around the line of scrimmage, it seems like he's always good for 3 or 4 yards. He's always carrying people with him. He's always falling forward at the end of runs.
Second down and 7 from the 36 with a minute and a half left in the third. See the movement and the flags.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's the left guard, Jason Kingston, rookie out of Pitt, 5th-round draft pick. And he is starting for the veteran Eric Steinbach, who is out for the year after undergoing knee surgery.
Well, they've got some changes along that offensive line. You mentioned Pinkston, also Sean Laval. Tony Pashos not playing. Artis Hicks and O'Neal Cousins have been rotating at the right tackle position.
Sets it back to a 2nd and 12. McCoy on a screen, and it's dropped. The tight end Benjamin Watson turned his head and not able to hang on.
Well, they've come back to this screen a number of times today. We've seen it to Watson. We've also seen it to Peyton Hillis, where they fake that quick throw to the left, and then the quarterback rolls around to the right. The Colts have done a good job covering up the receiver.
This crowd has been in it throughout, particularly in the third quarter.
Well, they really struggled on third down. They were 4 of 15 on third down last week, and a big reason why they've had big numbers like here.
3rd and long. McCoy throwing on the run, a dangerous pass intended for Massaquoi, so it's incomplete. And that'll bring on the punting team.
Well, Colt McCoy has done a good job extending plays. You can see Massaquoi come in here and he gets hit. Brady's is about to go down and try and make that catch. And I say, you've got to catch the football. It's going to hurt regardless whether you catch it or not.
Blair White, second-year man out of Michigan State, back at his 25. And here's the punt from Maynard. White with the fair catch across the 30. 38-yard punt does not allow a return. And you know, Rich, there's some history between the Browns and the Colts. The old Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Colts met in 2 NFL championship games. 1964, Jim Brown rushed for 114 yards. Gary Collins, 3 touchdown catches. Browns beat the Colts 27-0. 4 years later, Don Shula's Colts visited Cleveland again, and this time behind Tom Matty's 3 touchdowns. The Colts went on to defeat the Browns 34-0. Love that grainy footage. Not a knock on our production crew as the rookie DeLon Carter tried to go to his left. Picked up 2 on the play.
I love the old footage as well, Marv. You know, that's the history of the game. A lot of young people don't realize that Don Shula actually started his head coaching career in Baltimore and not Miami.
But the grainy footage is what does it.
Before all the high-def cameras.
Oh, yeah. Blows out the high-def. Carter again. This time no gain as this third quarter comes to a close.
I said I always look better with the grainy cameras. I said I have a face for radio.
Well, they use those grainy cameras during your
when I was playing.
Wait a second.
You're right.
Fourth quarter about to get underway here in Indianapolis. Browns have a 14-12 lead. Kerry Collins and the Colts have a third down and 8 from their 33-yard line.
Got Costanzo, left tackle.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, third down.
And it is Anthony Costanzo, first-round draft pick, rookie from Boston College.
Yeah, we talked about the offensive line and the changes Cleveland's had. Well, the same can be said for the Colts. Not a lot of continuity with this group. Costanzo and Wrights made their first starts ever last week. You look at the left side, and then Lincoln Bach made just his 5th start and his first ever at right tackle last week. So Jeff Saturday and Brian Dean, the only holdovers from a year ago.
Dean went out with an ankle injury earlier. Third and long, and it's picked off. Collins picked off by Usama Young, picking up blockers and returns to the 22-yard line. Dallas Clark making the tackle, a 29-yard return on the intercept by Usama Young, 5-year man out of Kent State.
Well, Kerry Collins makes a pretty good throw here. What happens is Reggie Wayne is going to stumble out of the break, and Young is right there to make the pick. You can see him right as he's turning. You know, that ball's got to come out early. Kerry's trusting that he's going to cross the face of the safety.
So the Browns, 1st and 10 from the Colt 21. Cribbs in the backfield, takes the swing pass, looks for room, and then he's tripped up inside the 15. 7 yards on that play. Melvin Bullitt makes the stop.
Well, we're starting to see some plays from that we saw earlier. You see Josh Cribbs come in the game, you know he's in there for a reason. They're trying to find ways to get him the ball and get him out on the perimeter, get the ball in his hands, and let him go to work. He is a big, strong, powerful man, and he's very difficult to get on the ground.
Ontario Hardesty and Peyton Hillis in the backfield. Hardesty carrying the ball, but he is turned back by Buffet. Antoine Buffet getting the reps on the 2nd-year man out of Tennessee. Is back from a season-ending knee injury, which allowed Hillis to emerge. It'll be a third down and 4 at the Colts 15.
Well, it's really loud down in this part of the field.
Cribbs in the slot to the right. It is caught. Greg Little gets inside the 5-yard line. Stopped by Jacob Lacey. That's good for 11.
They've absolutely killed the Colts today with this little under route, and they've had no answer for it. You're going to see he's just going to come right back underneath, and he's going to wait on Cribbs to clean out. And you can see right there, really a nice job by Greg Little. But that matchup, Greg Little on Jacob Lacey. Lacey has really struggled with his size.
1st and goal for the Browns. Hardesty, he takes a shot, put the ball on the ground. A hard hit on Montario Hardesty.
Well, he definitely doesn't have the ball. You can see Hardesty there. He got his bell rung. He missed all of last season, Marv, as you mentioned, with that ACL. Need to get some production out of him. That would be huge. Be a great compliment for Peyton Hillis. They're very fortunate to get that ball back.
Recovered by the Browns, and now Hillis checks back in. Let's take another look and listen to this.
Huge hit by Connor right in the hole. I don't know that Hardesty ever saw him until it was too late.
Joe Thomas on the recovery. Second and goal inside the 4, and again Hardesty gets the call. Hillis made his way onto the field and was called back. And they stay with Montario Hardesty, who picked up 2, stopped by Melvin Bullitt.
Well, I'm a little surprised to see that Peyton Hillis was not in there on those first 2 carries. I mean, he's your stud back, and he's been really good in this part of the field.
And now he's back on, perhaps lack of trust because of that fumble.
Well, I don't think he gets the ball here. I think they throw it.
Hillis is back there. McCoy on the run, fires. It is caught, but out of bounds. Alex Smith made the catch, covered by Pat Angerer, but Smith was out of bounds. Good pressure from Pat Angerer.
Well, you've got an opportunity. You always say if you wait, you're late. Had opportunity, I think, to hit Peyton Hillis early, but Colt was looking for Smith in the back of the end zone. Bring in Hillis maybe on 3rd down to get the Colts to think that they're going to hand it to him, and they try and throw it.
This is Phil Dawson attempting a 20-yard field goal. And Dawson puts it through. The Browns extend to a 17-12 lead. Terry Collins picked off by Usama Young. That led to the Browns' drive, which concludes with the field goal. Look at the numbers following that interception of Terry Collins, and the end result, the 20-yard field goal by Dawson. Dawson will kick it. LaFege is back. 4 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. And LaFege takes the knee. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. We'll be back here in Indianapolis in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by TD Ameritrade. The new 70-inch class LCD TV from Sharp. And by Chrysler. Imported from Detroit.
The Colts will start out from their 20-yard line. Terry Collins just one of his last 8, including that interception. A guy found a hole, were they able to work it across the 25, met by Jamie Mitchell, the left defensive end. So Adai picks up 6.
You know, Marv, they've rolled the dice for years here in terms of the backup quarterback situation. When we talked with Clyde Christensen the other day about it, he said, you know, we never really spent the money on a backup quarterback, and a number of those years we just carried 2 quarterbacks, and we've played so well over the last 10 years that we draft so late. It's really been hard to find some real quality players later in the draft.
Collins taking a hit, and pass in the area of Reggie Wayne. Well, for so many years, and it's circumstances that dictate, the Colts very fortunate that Peyton Manning was never seriously injured.
Well, 208 straight games, you begin to take him for granted, and I think it was the perfect storm with Peyton. I mean, they really thought he'd make it back for week 1. And not only that, but all of this happened when they didn't have a normal offseason, a chance to come in, bring in a free agent, develop another quarterback. They really anticipated that Peyton would be ready to play.
There's Collins as he is hit, and it is picked off and then dropped. It is called an incomplete pass. Look for a moment that Jabal Sheard or Phil Taylor had come up with that deflection, but it is ruled incomplete.
Well, really a nice, Jabal Sheard has certainly got my attention, not only in terms of stopping the run, but rushing the passer off the edge. Kerry never feels him. He deflects the ball, and he knocks it back up inside to his line mate, Phil Taylor, who almost makes this pick.
There is McAfee. Again, a nice punt. Cribbs on the back pedal. Couldn't find any room. Good coverage by the Colts. Beautiful punt, 57 yards, only an 8-yard return. Terrence Johnson making the tackle. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you're thinking, can we hold on here in the fourth quarter? You see the situation last week. Cleveland took a 17-13 lead into the fourth, lost the game. Last season, the Browns blew 4 fourth quarter leads. They have the lead right here. McCoy with a deep drop and now being chased. And completes. He finds the fullback, Owen Marisic. What a beautiful play. Good for 9, just short of the first down.
Well, Peyton Hillis has done an outstanding job moving around and extending plays. You can see right here, he gets outside the pocket. And watch this catch by Marisic. This is not something you typically see from a 250-pound fullback. Behind his shoulder, he does a nice job adjusting on the move. Really nice catch by the fullback.
2nd and 1. See Hillis protecting the ball as he was looking for the first down, but he stopped at the line. Coming up next, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers will go up against Tom Brady and the Patriots. And the Texans face the Dolphins, or it's the Bengals and the Broncos. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
I think this is an important drive for the Browns and an important third down. In short, they've got to learn how to finish games in the fourth quarter, and it starts with converting third and shorts.
Once again, it is Hillis trying to move the pile, moving forward. Wait for the spot. And it is a first down.
And you go back to the issues that this team has had. They couldn't finish last week. They had an opportunity. They had a lead in the fourth, and they didn't finish. They failed to do it 4 times last year with fourth quarter leads. A big reason why the Browns finished 5-11. You can't allow a team like the Colts to hang around. You've got to finish them off.
First down at the 37. And a leaping catch made by the tight end Alex Smith. Met there by Pat Angera. Just a 4-yard pickup.
I think this is really progress for Colt McCoy. His ability to work through the progression. Just watch his eyes. He's going to start to his left. He wants to throw that slant backside to Greg Little. It's not there. He works back inside to the tight end Watson, and then finally out to his third receiver, Alex Smith, in the progression.
Colt McCoy in his second season out of Texas. Again, it is Hillis. McCoy, the winningest quarterback in college football history, played all 4 years, but he has lost 6 straight in the NFL.
Yeah, the other thing is, as you mentioned, the fact that he's played so many games, and I didn't realize this, he led Texas in rushing in 2 of those 4 years, and that's what Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, was very worried about, his ability to run, to get outside the pocket, and to pick up some first downs.
McCoy now 22 of 31 for 211 yards. Third down and 2. And an inside handoff for the fullback, Marisic.
I think he's short.
Owen Marisic with his first NFL carry. Caught a pass a moment ago.
That was a great tackle by Melvin Bullock, the safety. Does a great job getting down in there and filling and making sure that Marisic, the fullback, can't get the first down.
So once again, here is Brad Maynard. His 5th punt. Blair White is back. Maynard, as I mentioned earlier, the 3rd punter of the season, following Reggie Hodges went down with an Achilles, and then Rich McGee with a back injury. And he is on injured reserve. He did the kicking last week and had a very rough day. That's a 42-yard punt. 5:47 remaining on the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL. and by Subway restaurants. Try the new Oven Crisp Chicken Sandwich today.
Well, the Colts offense has had a very difficult time finding the end zone this season. You see 7.5 quarters of football, just one offensive touchdown.
And Kerry Collins and the Colts take over, and that is through the hands of Dallas Clark.
Well, we talked about how Kerry Collins started 6 of 9 for 65 yards in the first quarter, and since then 4 of 14 for 31 yards and an interception. You see right there, they've got to find a way to get him back in rhythm. Well, how do you do that? Well, high completion percentage throws that he's comfortable with, throws that have answers versus man and zone.
Collins looking at a 2nd and 10.
Well, this is progress right here. You see him changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
Starts out as a draw, not much for a dive. Phil Taylor right there.
Maybe should have stuck to what they called, huh? You know, this is not an easy situation to be in. And if you're Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator, you're just trying to find a way to get him comfortable and get him going. You got to find a completion for Kerry Collins.
3rd down and 10. Colts from their 13. Collins getting protection, and it's off the mark. And now the crowd reacts. 3 and out.
Well, you can just see that he's not completely comfortable, and he's missed some throws now. He missed a throw to Dallas Clark. He's missed some to Reggie Wayne, and you see a missed throw there to Austin Collie. And you know, it's not just the playbook, it's getting to know the personnel, how they run routes, and what depth and how they come out of these cuts.
McAfee taking the high snap. Good part, Cribbs on the return. Picks up blockers. And is hit from behind and brought down across the 30-yard line. 58-yard punt. 41-yard return. Jerry Hughes was able to make the tackle on Cribbs.
Well, the great thing about Josh Cribbs is he's very decisive. The other good thing is that every time he gets the ball in his hands, the other 10 players on the field think he can score. So you get great effort, you get great blocks down the field, and he runs hard. He is big, strong, and physical, and as I said, very decisive and not easy to bring down in the open field. Wow, he is a great returner. I think he's one of the best in the business because he has that rare combination of size, speed, and quickness.
Browns 1st and 10 from the Colt 28. Hillis gets inside the 25, picked up 4. Jamal Anderson coming up to make the tackle with 4.5 remaining in this 4th quarter. The Browns try to hold on to a 4th quarter lead. They're up 17-12, looking to even the season record at 1-1. Well, Indianapolis has not been 0-2 since Peyton Manning's rookie year, 1998, when they finished at 3-13, and then turned it around the next season. McCoy, that was miscommunication. Benjamin Watson was in the area.
Well, one of the things you learn in this West Coast system is that the tight ends have to see the ball come out of your hands. Colt McCoy a little bit early there, not giving Ben Watson enough time to come out of that break. No talk about being efficient as an offense. The Browns have had opportunities here in the second half down in this part of the field, and I know when they watch that film tomorrow, if they can't score a touchdown here, Pat Shurmur is going to be very disappointed. They have not been able to capitalize on good field position.
3rd down and 6. Hillis finding running room to the 10, 5, touchdown. Peyton Hillis takes it 24 yards for the score. The Browns now lead it 23-12.
Well, you just can't afford to miss tackles in this part of the field, and you go back and take a look at it. You'll see Melvin Bullitt right there on the end man on the line of scrimmage. He's going to have a good shot at Peyton Hillis, but you can't. Arm tackles are not going to get this guy on the ground. He'll run right through him. As I said earlier in the broadcast, he seems to get stronger with each carry. He is a throwback. The more opportunities, the better he gets.
Phil Dawson will attempt the extra point. Hillis 24 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just under 4 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. And Cleveland with a 24-12 lead on Indianapolis.
Well, you know the Wampus Cats are thrilled. Yes. Back in Conway, Arkansas, Marv.
For those who may have just tuned in and missed yet another brilliant edition of your
Going Deep
vignette, Going Deep, that is the nickname of Peyton Hillis's high school team.
Yeah, the high school mascot, the Wampus Cats. 4 legs to run like the speed of light.
Oh, it's being repeated.
And 2 to fight with all his might. I love that.
You can't let go.
The Wampus Cats. But he is a handful. I love watching Peyton Hillis running. You know, I just think that, you've got to find a way to continue to put the ball in his hands. He can be such a difference maker for you. Counted for half of the Browns' touchdowns a year ago. A nice job congratulating the offensive line. That's what a good running back does. Make sure you take care of those big guys up front.
Joe LaFave back for the kickoff and has not been able to run one out. Another deep kick from the 35-yard line. Coming up, time permitting, following our game, the NFL Today update presented by Verizon. Join JB, Dan, Boomer, Coach Cowher, and Chris Jenkins for all the latest NFL scores and highlights.
Well, you have to ask yourself, where do the Colts go from here? They have not started 0-2 since '98, Marv, as you mentioned, and they finished 3-13 that year. You've got to continue to rally around Kerry Collins. He gives you the best chance to win, and there's a reason why they brought him in. It's been tough, very almost unfair to expect that in just a matter of weeks he could come in there and run this offense. I think they have to reevaluate what they're doing from an offensive standpoint.
Rich, not much other choice. I know they took a long look at Curtis Painter during preseason, which was not pretty. Painter, a 3-year man out of Purdue, a 6th-round draft pick 3 years ago. He replaced Jim Sorgi as Peyton Manning's longtime backup, and then they decided to make the call to Kerry Collins. Reggie Wayne on the catch.
I don't think anybody is going to replace Peyton Manning and the production in this offense. This is not going to happen. And this offense was built around him, and it didn't happen overnight. So you got to do the best you can with Kerry, and I think he'll get more and more comfortable as he gets more reps in practice with this offense.
Collins in trouble, and down he goes. The ball is knocked out of his hands, and then it's batted back the other way. It's a scramble, and question is who touched it last before it carried out of bounds.
Boy, Jabal Sheard has quietly had an outstanding day along this defensive line. And he has given Lincoln Box some real problems at right tackle.
That's the way the game began for Kerry Collins last week.
There is no foul on the play. The ball was possessed by the defense. Then a backward pass was thrown, which does go out of bounds. It will be Cleveland's ball at the out-of-bounds spot, 1st and 10.
So the Browns take over on the turnover.
There he is right there, the end man on the line of scrimmage, and he's really causing some problems for Lincolnbach. He's just beating them with the speed and quickness around the edge. Kerry's got to take better care of the football. It was a problem last week. Ball security. He's put the ball on the ground way too many times. 139 fumbles in his career.
There's that backward pass. But the ball back to the Browns. They'll have it at the Indianapolis 27-yard line with 3 minutes, 18 seconds to play in this fourth quarter. And now a challenge flag is tossed by the Browns.
I don't know if he wants to challenge the spot where it wound up, or got a question.
It's the head coach, Pat Shurmur. First year as an NFL head coach. He replaced Eric Mangini. In fact, he is the Browns' third head coach in 4 years. He doubles up as the offensive coordinator.
Did such a great job last year with Sam Bradford in St. Louis. Sam just one of 3 quarterbacks to take every snap, every offensive snap, and I think he's got a special one here in Colt McCoy.
On the field on the previous play, they're challenging that they believe that the runner was down by contact prior to the backward pass. The play is under review.
So it is all about the spot.
And he wants to go back and see whether or not Sheard is actually down before this ball comes out.
Sheard, number 97.
It looks like that knee is out. The knee is down. Watch that left knee. Clearly that's down before that ball comes out. It's a good shot of it right there. He's got to learn. Jabal Sheard has to learn how to carry the football. Well, he's had a really nice day. I'm excited about this young defensive line in Cleveland. I think Jabal Sheard and Phil Taylor are going to be really good players for a long time for Dick Duran, who, by the way, has done, we haven't talked a lot about Dick today. He has done an outstanding job as a new defensive coordinator here in Cleveland. Coming in this staff and not having a lot of time to work with these players. They make the change from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3. It's a bit of an adjustment. It takes a while sometimes to get the right players who fit the scheme, but I think they're really off to a good start here in Cleveland.
After review, it has been determined the runner's knee, defensive player's knee, was down prior to the backward pass. The ball will be placed just inside the 15-yard line on the right hash mark. Would the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 23 seconds. 3:23 on the game clock, and Cleveland is not charged with the timeout.
And you can see the happiness on the face of Pat Shurmur. That's not the way he was looking last night as they changed charter flights.
And that flight was 3.5 hours late.
Right, but a successful challenge, so the ball is moved to the 15-yard line.
Well, he's going to be a very good coach. And, as a guy, I think he's going to keep his composure and, be able to handle adversity. We already saw that last week, and did a nice job getting this team ready in some difficult circumstances.
This crowd has begun to file out as Hillis rams his way inside the 10-yard line. Picks up 6. Met by Eric Foster. Timeout is called here by the Colts. Well, you can manage all of your CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile device. Download the free app. You can do it today at cbssports.com/mobile. Down to 3:18 remaining in this fourth quarter. Let's see what's ahead for the Indianapolis Colts. Does not get any easier next week. Home for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then at Tampa Bay, back home for Kansas City, followed by road games at Cincinnati, New Orleans, and Tennessee. And the question is also, will Peyton Manning be able to return this season? Coming back from the neck surgery. Ellis driving ahead.
I wouldn't put anything past Peyton Manning, but I would tell you this. 3 neck surgeries in the past 19 months to repair a bulging disc, and I think it's highly unlikely that he comes back. That was a significant procedure that he just had a week ago.
And again, a timeout is taken. by the Colts. So they're down to one remaining. Cleveland has all three. As for the Browns, next week they are home for Miami. And a home game against Tennessee, followed by their bye week. They do have a very difficult finish, facing Pittsburgh and Baltimore twice each in the final 5 games. It's Hillis. You know, you don't even have to look at the field. You just hear the...
Well, you can hear the crack in the helmets, can't you?
As you know, Hillis is doing damage as he churns his way. And the Colts have just used their final timeout.
Well, you know, when you play against a back like Peyton Hillis, if you're a defensive player, you've got to bring your big boy pads. There's been a lot of gang tackling. There have been a lot of blue jerseys around the pile every time number 40 gets the ball in his hands.
Peyton Hillis goes 6'2", 250 pounds.
Well, you talk about the Peyton Manning effect, and you said that they were spoiled here in Indianapolis for all these years. Just look at the difference. Passing yards today, 88, what they're used to. I mean, 300 yards was kind of a common number for Peyton in this offense, and total yards, points. They're going to have to adjust in a big way, and I think it all starts with being a more balanced offense. It's got to be more production in the running game.
Here's Phil Dawson from 23 yards away. Hit from 20 earlier. So the Browns add to the lead. Now 27-12 with just under 3 minutes to play. Indianapolis using all 3 of its timeouts. They'll have the 2-minute warning, but that'll be it. And the Colts are now hearing the boos from those who have remained here at Lucas Oil Stadium.
When we talked to Kerry on Friday, I asked him about this system. I said, you know, is there anything that was familiar to you? He said there was absolutely no carryover with any other system that he's been in his entire 17-year career. But I think the expectations are a little unrealistic for these fans. I mean, this is as Clyde Christensen told us, this is not some entry-level offense. This is as complicated as it gets, and it's going to take a while for this offense. I love the story that Tom Moore, the longtime offensive coordinator, he was asked, you know, why don't you develop a backup quarterback, and why don't they get more work in practice? And his comment said, you know, if Peyton goes down, we're in big trouble. And I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for us to practice being in big trouble. Unfortunately, it's now a reality for the Indianapolis Colts.
Meanwhile, the Browns have scored the last 13 points. This game is at 14-12. It's now 27-12. A return by LaFage.
It just felt weird being at practice on Friday and not seeing Peyton Manning run the show. And it was unusual to see the ball hit the ground once in a while. I mean, that never happened at practice on Fridays.
Kerry Collins, who began his NFL career in 1995 as a first-round pick, 5th overall by Carolina. Spent his last 5 years with Tennessee. He's played for the Panthers, the Saints, the Giants, Raiders. Made the Pro Bowl a couple of times. Able to connect with Dallas Clark. Covered by DeQuell Jackson. The time running out on the Colts, who are on their way to a record of 0-2, and the Browns will even things up at 1-1. Here Garcon, Colts receivers getting lots of room right now. Joe Hayden providing the coverage as we close in on 2 minutes to go. Collins trying to step up and find Clark.
Well, even this is good work for Kerry Collins in a no-huddle 2-minute situation, just going through the mental gymnastics of calling the plays and the protections. And people don't realize there's a lot that goes on. You know, it's not just You think about the communication between Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator. You've got to tell him the personnel. You've got to tell him the formation. You've got to tell him the protection. And he's got to relay all that information out. It's a lot of communication that has to take place between the play caller, the quarterback, and of course he's got to do a good job getting that information to his teammates.
3rd down and 4. And Collins able to complete to Wayne for his first down. As we hit the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play. Browns up 27-12. 2 minutes to play in the 4th quarter here in Indianapolis. Browns with a 27-12 lead.
A lot of concerned faces in the audience. Not used to losing games at home, and particularly in this fashion.
And from the Brown point of view, how about holding on to a 4th quarter lead and building on it? Joseph Adai in the flat, stopped by Quell Jackson. That's a 7-yard pickup. This will be Cleveland's first win over Indianapolis since 1994, though these two teams do not meet that frequently. Collins for Adai, broke a tackle, and then is tripped up inside the 30, picking up a first down with 1.5 minutes to play. That's good for 10. So the Browns able to turn it from last week's home loss to the Bengals, and it will be new head coach Pat Shurmur's first NFL victory.
Yeah, it was nice how they did it. I think they got contributions in all 3 phases of the game. Josh Cribbs had some big returns. Of course, Colt McCoy, I thought he made some really good plays outside the pocket. He was very decisive. He knew he couldn't hold the ball with Freeney and Mathis breathing down his neck. And, of course, Peyton Hill has had a good day. And this defense, I thought, has really played well. Has come up with some turnovers, has put pressure on Kerry Collins.
Hillis, 22 carries, 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. Garcon from Collins. Another first down as time is running out on the Colts. That's a 16-yard hookup. And Collins spikes the ball to stop the clock. The numbers on Colt McCoy, 22 for 32, 211 yards, including a touchdown.
Yeah, very efficient day, and I just thought the decision-making was good. We talked about the movement, good accurate throws. The guy's a winner. I mean, that's what I know about Colt McCoy, and I think very natural leadership qualities, and I think you look for that in the position. I think the game's important to him, and if it's not important at that position, I think that you're really in trouble as an organization.
How can the game not be important?
Well, I mean, listen, look around the league, Marv. We talked about it. Was it important to Jamarcus Russell a couple years ago in Oakland? I think it's, that guy has to be the hardest working player in the building. He's got to come in early. He's got to stay late. And he's got to be the face of your franchise. And you've got to know that you can count on him in tough times. And I think that's one of the problems that the Browns have had. You go back since 1999, they've had so many different quarterbacks, more than any other team in football, and that's been the problem. They're hoping that Colt McCoy is the answer at quarterback.
Austin Collie with the catch inside the 1 with 45 seconds remaining. And you see the flags. Look to be the left tackle, Anthony Costanzo.
You get a 10-second run off here, and there's a communication. Those were Jeff Saturday.
Offense number 74. It's a 5-yard penalty. Also by rule, a foul that prevents the snap with the clock running under 1 minute. There will be 10 seconds taken off the clock. Would the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 30 seconds, and the clock will start on the ready for play.
And the clock was going to start on the ready, so they've got to get up the line of scrimmage and be ready with a call.
Colts looking for just their second touchdown of the season, and this their second game. The other one came late last week, and there it is. Caught by Donald Clark. The game was was just out of reach last week against Houston when Reggie Wayne caught a touchdown pass. At the time it was 34-0. So here it is Dallas Clark on a 6-yard pass play, but only 24 seconds to go.
Now Dallas Clark is just going to run a little stick route on the safety, TJ Ward, and TJ gives him a little bit too much cushion in that part of the field.
Now here's Vinatieri. So Cleveland with a 27-19 lead. How about the AFC North? Ravens lose to the Titans this afternoon. Pittsburgh beats Seattle to even things up after they were blasted last week.
And Cincinnati is my upset special this week. They're going to take down the Broncos in Denver with a young quarterback, Andy Dalton, and A.J. Green, and a new play caller, Jay Gruden. The AFC North already upside down.
Rich, very excited about the upset.
That's my upset special. I did not like the way the Broncos played on Monday night. I just thought that was a very disappointing performance. The Raiders really took it to them. We're the more physical team in every aspect of the game. They got after them up front. I thought they really controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And a little surprised that Denver wasn't more prepared for Darren McFadden and that Raiders rushing attack.
Well, here we have an 8-point lead. So the good hands people up front. Only 24 seconds remaining, but a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Well, they worked on this at practice on Friday. There'll definitely be a collision here. You just know it.
And now the Browns take a timeout after they see the alignment of the Colts.
Well, you can see Chris Tabor, the special teams coordinator there. And this is the concern that you have the first month of the season. Remember now, a lot of these special teamers are rookies and first-year players that have not had the benefit of a lot of reps in the offseason program. No mini camps, no OTAs. In fact, the Cleveland Browns, with a new head coach, were entitled to an extra mini camp, and they didn't get that. So this is what you really worry about. Young players in the kicking game making mistakes.
Now you can say this about every team in the NFL, but Pat Shurmur pointing out to us yesterday when they got to camp was 80 players, 20 coaches, and no one knew each other. So that leads to the fact that you don't get many repetitions, particularly on special teams. Oh, a little tricky move here by Vinatieri, but it's caught. Little spin. And Cribbs is right on it.
Well, I didn't want to give it away. That's the one we saw him work at in practice on Friday. The only problem is Josh Cribbs is over that side. I'd much rather kick it away from Josh Cribbs. He's big, he's strong, and he's got very good hands. You see,
Are you withholding information?
Well, they want you to think it's going to go that direction, and they come right back the other way. But Josh Cribbs is sitting right there, ready for that one.
22 seconds to play in the fourth.
This used to be my favorite play in football. The victory play.
So while the Colts go 0-2 for the first time since Peyton Manning's rookie year in 1998. To make matters worse, as we touched on, the Colts have the Steelers next week, and the Browns stop a couple of losing streaks. They had dropped 5 straight dating back to last November the 28th and had lost 5 in a row to Indianapolis.